Hey there everybody, Paller here, and welcome back. Today we're going to be going back into Diablo 3. I'm going to be doing final thoughts of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Now you might recall, if you watch my channel at all, I did about a month and a half ago, 5 or 6 weeks ago, did a let's look at Diablo 3's 2.0 update, where we went through and we checked what 2.0 brought about to the game. We talked about if it made the game playable, if it justified re-downloading and reinstalling. If you haven't seen that video, I'd recommend going back and watching that. I will put a link to that in the video itself right here. I'll also put a link to that in the description. So I recommend checking that out, as the video was pretty long. There were quite a few changes, which meant I want to say the video was about 45 minutes, and I don't want to rehash all of that, as it will drag on for just too much. And I'd rather not have an hour and a half long video when I can do hopefully about a 30-minute long video covering just Reaper of Souls. And that's going to be the main focus of this video, just what was added via the expansion pack alone. If you don't feel like going back and watching a 45-minute video, I understand that. Quick recap. Basically what I came to the conclusion of is, as long as you don't have a problem with the always online to where it breaks it or whatever, the 2.0 update brought about enough loot changes and the better experience system, or the better difficulty system, that it made the game enjoyable enough it was worth re-downloading and replaying. Since it didn't cost you anything, you might as well go and do it if you already own the game. If you didn't own the game, I don't know if it was going to be enough to change your mind about it, so that's a tough one. You have to judge that on your own. But if you just refuse to download it because of the bad launch, you're missing out on what has become a pretty darn good ARPG. That was my basic thoughts on 2.0. Reaper of Souls. What does Reaper of Souls bring about? So Reaper of Souls adds in 3 primary things plus then a few tweaks, and I would say a fourth kind of primary thing. So it adds in the whole new act. Act 5 of the campaign finishes up a bunch of the story, and we'll go into that a little more in depth with just about no spoilers, no major spoilers, as few spoilers as I possibly can get. It brought about adventure mode, which is what I am in right now. It also brought about... oh, I missed everybody with that. It also brought about the new class, the Crusader, which is what I am playing. The last thing that it's kind of borderline, I wasn't sure how to discuss this, it added in a new NPC-style vendor or crafter. They call her the Enchanter. She's more of a Reforger, and we will show her in a little bit. Let's let those die. There we go. So those are the big things. There were a few other minor changes it did. It added in some more abilities onto weapons and items. It added in... what else did it add in? I think that's about it. Really? Another one of these groups? Yes. These groups are a pain. Don't move! Dang it, they all just fled. That leap really hits for a ton, but they all fled and ran away from it. Yeah, come back here. You dang thing. Stop running from me. Thank you. Okay, first we will go into, because we're doing it right now, the adventure mode. So adventure mode is unlocked by completing the primary campaign. You have to go through Act 5 100%. You have to kill the final boss in Act 5 to unlock adventure mode. You can do this on any difficulty. Once it is unlocked for one character, it's unlocked for every character. So in reality, there's only the need to unlock or to play the Act 5 once. You don't have to go back through. So an intelligence-based sword, not bad, or spear. Not talking about Act 5 now, but the adventure mode, once it's unlocked, then you get basically you go into these different hubs. If we come back out here, we can now see on the map, we can see the different hub worlds. So Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, 4, and 5. And when you go to the different hubs, come in here to map level 1, to the next map level, you'll see you have down here in the bottom these bounties that you can select from. And each bounty will take you, whoops, I didn't want to show that map, I apologize. Let's cancel out of that and come in here. Here's the different bounties. And what it'll be is on different sections, it'll choose up 5 different sections of the map. And it'll say, go here, and when you get there, it'll give you a quest. So this one here was kill Asmodon. So I went in there, and upon killing Asmodon, I got a reward of somewhere around 300,000 XP plus about 8,000 or so gold. And I got part of a key fragment. I went here, did this. I had to clear the caverns of the frost. I had to tie to battle. So this was, I believe there was an NPC I had to assist, and so forth. You get the general idea. There's about 6 or 8 different things they will do. For the most part, they're going to either give you an elite target or give you like a shrine or something that you must pray at and repel the curse in it or something to that effect. And you're going to get these key fragments. If we look, do I have any in my inventory? I do not. I put them all in the bank. For all 5 of these key fragments you get, you can then actually, let's just go ahead and we'll go back and I'll show you all this stuff. Upon getting 5 key fragments, you can then combine them together, make a key, and open up a portal into this Nephilim zone. We'll get there, all this stuff. Let me just disenchant all this crap I don't need. Blues can all go. Blues can all go. I know I shouldn't be picking up blues and grays, but I need them for crafting items. So, I pick them up just to disenchant them. Or whatever this is, salvage them. Let's see, anything good here? A 147 strength ring, not very good. Not very good, not very good. 162 strength, regenerates 97 life, 10% movement. Nope, we don't want that. Strength, vitality, armor, that's pretty good, but I don't have the socket. I want the socket. We can try that on the Reforger, I'll show you guys that. Fire wand, can't use. Rare boots, witch doctor. Strength, 3% life, reduces, nope. Nope. 3.1% damage, generates 202 life compared to per second or 47 per hit. Let's switch that out, that's pretty good. This might actually be good for my Templar. 214 strength, 3% life, that's not too bad. Alright, let's, goodbye. All this. This helmet I didn't like, did like, can't use, okay. Close, open. Inventory, sorry. We'll get back there. I just want to see if this will upgrade him. Let's see, 10,166, 366, 695, there we go. He's a little bit stronger now. Okay, so, that's not what I wanted. Basically, as you go through, for completing each one of those bounties, you will get one of these little Rift Keystone fragments. You'll occasionally get other ones. Certain rare elites will drop them. You'll also get, upon completing all 5 of these, you'll get this little hardcore or Heroic cache from Tyrael. And when you open this up, this will normally have another 1 or 2 key fragments. So I'd say in one map clearing, you'll probably walk away between 6 and 7 of these keystone fragments. Where we can then come down here, and this is in every one of the main zones, there's this pillar here, that if you have 5 key fragments, it will open up a portal to this other zone. That's the zone we were just in. And that zone is designed just in purpose of basically loot farming. It'll be normally 2 or 3 zones put together that you go through, and as you clear through them, it has an extra lot, or quite a few more, elite and rare mobs in it, and at the end of it, there'll be one really, really tough guardian mob, and he has a higher percentage loot drop chance. So you go through there, you clear everything out, then you kill this guy off, and hopefully you'll get some pretty good loot. So basically, you go out, you start off, you clear out the 5 zones, you'll get your 5 key fragments, hopefully a few more, you'll come back, you'll clear the portal, and somewhere in there you're likely to get 1 or 2 legendary items out of it, and that'll take you, depending on how quickly your speed do it, probably about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours to do everything. We'll go back to that real quickly. I did say there was a new NPC that you acquire. So this is the NPC. Now, she is only acquired through playing through the campaign. If you do not buy Reaper of Souls, you will not get her, and you will only unlock her via playing through Act 5. About halfway through the act or so, maybe a little less, maybe 35% of the way through the act, she becomes available. Now, they call her a enchanter. She's more of a reforger, if you know of World of Warcraft, where you can take one stat and you can reforge it into something else. For example, this helmet here, I want to get a socket on it. Basically, the reason I want the socket is I want to put that gem in it for 33% chance of finding magical items, which is very nice. So we're going to take this item, we're going to put it here, and then we have different things we can go through. I would like to hopefully reforge this lightning resistance into a socket. So I'm going to ask her to replace this property. We're going to go ahead and she'll do it. And we gained lightning resistance monster kills. We don't want either one of those, so we'll just stay with this one. And then we'll add that in. Now we can replace the property again. And you can repeat this over and over. Golden health pickup, 40 poison resist. We don't want either one of those. Reduces duration of control impairing effects, level requirement. We don't want either of those. Come on, give me something good. Give me a socket. Ah! She's not going to do it. I might be doing the wrong one. It might have to be maybe armor or whatever. If I look here, the socket's always below the secondary, right? And we're replacing the secondary. So this should be... Fire resist would be better than nothing. And replace. Come on, give me a socket. Fear on hit. That's not too bad. But I'm not going to wear it unless I can get a socket on it. 12% gold. Increases gold and health pickup. It's not going to happen. 40 arcane. Come on. Nope. One last try. Fear on hit. Fear on hit. Yeah, nothing good. Well, you get the idea. You can basically take one property, and you can only do a single property with that. And each time you do it, it does get a little more expensive. You can see I was probably spent about 300,000 gold there doing that. The gold doesn't mean all that much before. So that is what she can do. She can also transmogrify, or transmog. Basically, she can make that helmet look like pretty much any helmet design you've come before for a reasonable price. The more expensive designs cost more to do, so you can see a legendary design costs 50,000 gold compared to 500 gold. It's an alright little item, but this is the new NPC we get. Okay, let's come back here, just salvage that helmet real quick, get it out of my inventory. Whoops. Missed my hammer click. And we'll store everything back in the chest and go back to work. Good, 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 good. Okay. Back to work. So as I was saying, basically you go through for the adventure mode now. You go through the 5 different bounties. You'll get 5 different key shards, maybe upwards of 7 or 8, which will then turn into a key, which will then give you a portal into this zone. And this zone is it's not even actually part of the map. You can see here we're kind of somewhere else. We're in the bounty reward zone. And for this, we get to run around. Now this bar, as I kill enemies, this bar is filling up. When this bar hits 100%, then the Rift Guardian will be summoned in somewhere near me. Not normally right on top of you, but somewhere within line of sight of you, that'll show up on the map. And that boss has a higher loot drop chance, at least he seems to. I always seem to get something pretty good off of them. And then also within this zone, even beyond that, there's quite a few rare elites. And then you rinse and you repeat. Does this fix one of my complaints with even 2.0 expansion of the randomness of the game, where the environments feel pretty much the same? Not really, but since you move from environment to environment in a more random rotation, you know, you're not going through the same environment over and over and over. Dang it. I really hate these ghosts. Yeah, stay right there. Right in my beam of death. I got you. But since you're no longer like just in one environment for an extended period of time, the lack of variety in the environments don't bother me as much. Do I wish there was more? Absolutely. You can always wish there was more. But it's now a minor pet peeve rather than an actual annoyance of seeing in the same place over and over again in the same order over and over and over again. So that has been relatively fixed. Let's see, where are we going? I'm all turned around and lost. And then this works also for within the acts. I kind of wish the bounty system, like there was maybe one bounty hub that could then put you in any location from Act 1 through 5. I think that would have maybe worked a little bit better.
Not enough wrath.
I'm gonna get my consecration down. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. In the end, though, the adventure mode is good enough that I don't really mind it, and it does, for at least the time being, it takes a lot of the monotony off of the level grinding and the questing and everything. There's also quite a bit of bonus XP. You get more XP for just killing inside of adventure mode, and then those rewards for completing the bounties and so forth are ridiculously high. For example, this character right now has less than 10 hours of gameplay on her, and she's already level 52. I have a demon hunter who's level 50 who has 30 hours of gameplay on her. And that 30 hours, more than 5 to 8 of those hours were done during the 50% bonus XP boost. Ooh, I'm getting in trouble. Thanks. We're doing during the XP boost that was going on I am. Gotta get out of there. Before the launch of Reaper of Souls. If you don't know, they had ran for that health globe. Stupid Waller Arcane Enchanted Chains. And Poison on the Ground. What a fun group this is. That group was fun. I lost my train of thought. Almost died. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying I wish there was kind of a central hub that could send you out to any part of the axe. It would have put a little more variety into it. But, oh, I was talking about XP. That's what I was talking about. Like I said, so, level 52 with about 10 hours invested compared to level 50 with about 30 hours invested. Some of those hours actually being where they were giving out the 50% bonus XP, which they did leading up for about 2 weeks before the release of the expansion. Really? Another one of these ghosts? Come on. These darn ghosts are just a pain in the butt. My abilities require them to be in one kind of location that I can hit them with. But they did 50% bonus XP for about 2 weeks, and then actually the last Friday through Monday, right before launch, those last 3 days, there was 100% bonus XP. That just gives you an idea of how much quicker you can level through the adventure mode. And in fact, I've never even touched story mode on this character. Once, as you hit certain levels, like level 10, it'll unlock the Templar for you. Around level 20, it'll unlock the Scoundrel. And level 30, it'll unlock the Enchantress. So you don't even have to go into the campaign just to get your NPC followers. You can just focus on playing adventure mode, get all the XP, and it works pretty darn well. As to the story itself, let's talk Act 5 now. And again, I'm going to do this with about as few spoilers as possible. There's 2 things I'll say about it, so very minor spoilers coming up right now. The act takes place in the city of Westmarsh, which is somewhere... I think we saw that. Did we go to Westmarsh when we played in Diablo 2? I can't remember. I know we've talked about it. In fact, the Templar guy we're running with here is from there. So he has some interesting storylines where he's talking about, I used to go there and I used to do that, which is all pretty neat. The campaign also leaves off at the end of Act 5. It definitely sets up an opening for a further expansion or a sequel. That's what I'll just say about that. It ends on a bit of a cliffhanger in order to allow for a sequel of sorts.
My wrath is low.
As to the actual contents of it, beyond any spoilers or anything like that, it's a fairly well done act. It did not flesh out the story in any way that if you had a major problem with the story in Diablo 3, this is not going to suddenly change your mind. It's not going to blow you away. There's a few more characters that are kind of interesting in it. The cutscenes are amazingly well done, as is always the case with Diablo, or with Blizzard, and so forth. But I will say, like, if you look through the campaign of Diablo 3, you look at Act 1. Act 1, despite having done it a billion times in order to play through all of the guys up to Torment mode, it's a fairly well fleshed out act. You know, there's about 10 or so different chapters. Those chapters all intermingle and are inside themselves, pretty well done and everything. It felt like a fully developed part of the story. Whereas if you looked at Act 4, it clearly felt like they were forced. They were rushed in order to complete Act 4. And Act 4 only has like 4 different parts to it, and it just didn't really work all that well. This is definitely more like Act 1 than it is than Act 4. In fact, it might be the most fleshed out act in the entire game. It's kind of a hybrid of the story-driven moving from location to location of Act 1 with the monster just variety and massive kills of Act 3. It's kind of a hybrid between the two of those. And I did it once. I might go back through and do it one more time with a different class, but I don't see myself playing it over and over. Luckily, we don't need to play it over and over anymore. You stupid ghost getting out of my big attack. They're driving me nuts. But considering you need to play through it once just to unlock adventure mode and in order to unlock the Enchantress, it's acceptable enough. It won't ruin anything. And you can play through it on any difficulty, which is also nice. We're about to unlock the Rift Guardian here, which will be nice. The last big thing really to talk about then is the Crusader, him, herself, depending on what you make of her. So, the Crusader overall is a pretty interesting character. She is, I'm going to continue to call her a she because I'm playing a female Crusader. I apologize about that if that bothers you. But there is kind of a hybrid class between the monk and the barbarian. So she definitely has the slower, more deliberate attacks like the barbarian. She also is much more of a plate wearer than the barbarian. Or like the barbarian. Here we go. Now the big guy's coming. Let's finish off all this stuff real quick. Here he is. Rift Guardian. Oh, and now we gotta... Oh, this is gonna get bad. Can I get that prism? There we go. That'll help. We aggroed an elite pack from... There we go. The elite pack's all dead. Get out of that. Come here, dummy. Sorry, we're gonna... It's gonna be a moment of chaos as I fight off this high-powered Rift Guardian. Where'd he go? I hate these meteor guys. He's almost dead. Almost dead. Come on. Come on. That hurt. Just die already. Give me some loot. Give me some loot. No good loot. Blood shards. Shield. Nothing great. What was I saying? So overall, the class feels like a hybrid. So her abilities and everything feel similar to a barbarian. However, her resource generation and her self-healing and group healing is closer to a monk. Yeah, we didn't get a whole bunch of anything good. I'm going to continue to just clear out this area, see if there's any more elites, which right here's another one. Then we'll head back and we'll finish up this video as I talk about more. Overall, the class is also got some very, very interesting abilities that I kind of like. She can do quite a bit of AoE damage. She has several, I would say 4, maybe 5 skills that are entirely revolve around her having a shield in her offhand. Basically, if you don't have a shield equipped, you can't even use them. And while at first I was like, oh no, that's going to be rough, they were smart enough, they gave her a passive trait she can equip that gives her, if we come in here and we look in these passive skills, this one right here, Heavenly Strength, allows her to wield two-handed weapons in her main hand. So basically, you can dual wield with a two-hander in one hand and a one-hander in the offhand, or... Oh, while bearing a shield. No, you can't do that. So only a two-hander. But you can use a two-hander and a shield together at the same time. So this allows you to really get some pretty good DPS going. I'm actually only using a one-hander right now because it's by far my most powerful weapon I have. Holy crap. Hopefully you can kind of see here. I was telling you how there seems to be a higher density of elite mobs inside this rift. I mean, we're just mowing through elite mobs here. Come on.
I require more wrath.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-da. You just die already? So many of those annoying ghosts. Actually, let's go in and we'll take a quick look at some of the abilities. So her primary abilities, they kind of vary. You have a punish. This is an ability that generates increased block chance. So it'll actually cause procs based off when she blocks. So when you block with Hardened Senses activate, you gain 15% increased critical hit. That's not too bad. But basically, so the main attack, each time she strikes, it increases her block chance by 15% for 5 seconds. Slash is an AoE in front of her, smite. So these are the primary abilities. I'm just going to cover some of the more interesting ones. This Blessed Hammer one's kind of... It looks bad, but it's actually kind of neat. So let's just select this real quick here. Whoops, I put it on the wrong skill. But if we come here, it throws out these circling hammers that slowly circle out from you. And while they seem kind of crappy because they're so small, they hit for a freight train ton of damage. They will knock through an enemy real quick. What was I had? I had Slash with Zeal, I think. Yes, that was my primary. Let's come in here. What else do we have? Steed Charger. This is one that we've seen. You'll see a lot of people mess around with this one in their videos. We turn this on. Close this. You mount up on a horse and then you can ride around really quick, and you can actually ride through enemies while doing that. Works pretty nice. It's a fun one to have. What else do we got that's interesting? Consecration. This is one from World of Warcraft. Obviously, you've probably heard of this one. However, in Diablo, it's actually a healing. It throws down a healing circle on the ground. Now you can glyph it or rune it in order to damage other enemies and such, but it's primarily a healing ability. What else? You got laws. So these are kind of like the mantras from the monks. Law of Hope heals us. Law of Just is increased crits. Law of Valor is increased attack. Nothing really great. This is my favorite ability, Falling Sword. This is when you'll see me jumping up in the air, come down, and when I hit like a truck. Overall, pretty interesting skills. Excuse me. What was that? Consecration. This was my... Oh boy, I forgot my third ability. Oh, Condemn. Condemn. Yeah. Condemn is my big explosion. Increases damage. Yep. Overall, I am liking, and everybody I talk to likes the Crusader class. The only downside to it, I would say, is that there is only one additional class. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember there being an expansion for Diablo 1. I know for Diablo 2 there was the expansion, and if I recall correctly, there were 3 classes added. There were at least 2 classes. There was the Amazon or whatever, and then there was the Druid. But I want to say there were 3 classes added in it. And it just feels like I'm hoping they didn't withhold a class just because they know they're going to make another expansion and they want to put one class out per expansion. I think the expansion would be far more justifiable at its price tag if it had more than one class. And we'll get into why I believe that here. Actually, let's start to finish this up, and I'm going to give you my final rundown on everything. So, when you look at everything as a whole for Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, and what it brings about, I kind of, in my mind, I break it apart in 2 different things. For the most part, I kind of believe everyone, regardless of owning Reaper of Souls, should have adventure mode. To me, I think it fixes or helps a fundamental flaw with Diablo 3, the base game, and I'm not a fan of them locking it away to only those people that buy Reaper of Souls. And in that window, I have a tough time saying Reaper of Souls is worth what it is at its current price tag of $40. To me, it feels more like $30. And we're only talking $10 difference there. But if you just look at it, another act of the story, one class, and then several things that, in my opinion, fix fundamental flaws with the primary game. And I just don't see $40 in value there. And it's kind of funny because I'm really liking it. But I'm trying to look at this. Obviously, value is different for everybody. You know, if you're a big ARPG fan, this could be awesome for you. This could be exactly what you're looking for. And I don't want to dissuade that. And I don't want to say that anything they have done here is bad. Everything is pretty darn good, actually. But, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, jump. One moment while I try not to die. Let's get out of that snow. Oh, here comes another ghostly elite pack. Really? Does it have to be ghostly elites everywhere, every time? Is that what it has to be? Get out of there. But I just lightning bolt everything here and create a ton of arcs. That'll kill them all off. I have to show you this actually in a bit. Come here, come here. Now I got things kind of caught up. So the Enchantress, she's an odd one. While I don't know if she entirely fixes anything from the primary game, having the ability to add in... I just don't like the idea of a crafting NPC being locked behind the DLC. Or crafting NPC being locked behind the expansion, the wall. And I think that's kind of where I was going with everything overall. I look at the items that the expansion should have in it that the base game shouldn't, and I don't see the value being quite there for the average consumer, and so forth. Had they put in 2 or 3 classes, plus then the act, and then the loot for those 2 or 3 classes, gosh darn it! What are the odds of this? And of course I miss with my primary attack. Come back here, stupid ghosts. Then I think they would have a $40 price tag. For now, though, I would say for somebody that's on the fence about it, I'd probably wait for it to be $20 or so, $20 to $30. Seems like a fair price tag for what you're going to get out of the expansion. Overall, beyond just ignoring price, this is just, I'm being trolled by Blizzard. Just get a... I don't even know what to say. What is that? That's like 3 of these elite ghosts in a row? 4? I'll have to go back and rewatch this. Arc onto him. There we go. And I haven't gotten even a legendary. My loot drop's been bad today. If we remove the price point for this, and the fact that I believe some of its content should be available for everyone because it fixed a major problem, Diablo 3 now is a very good, enjoyable ARPG. I don't know if it's going to do it for everybody, but for myself, who is someone that's more into this is just stupid. For somebody like myself that is less about the character customization and less about having my own paladin or my own monk or whatever, who's okay with the way they didn't put talent trees in, this is a very good game. However, if you're somebody that really could not get into it because you didn't have talent trees or whatever, I don't know if this is going to correct anything for you. It's going to, you gained 1 new ability per class, plus then 5 runes for that ability, or is that what they're calling them, runes? Yeah, runes. You also gained 10 additional levels, but I don't see anything that's going to all of a sudden make you feel like... There's definitely no change that's going to make this compete with, say, Path of Exile's talent tree, or talent wheel system that they had there. Did we loot everything? How are we doing on... Bags are almost full again. Looks like, yeah, we looted everything. And that's unfortunate. Though, for myself, where I don't really care, and it was nice being able to just swap out skills, I'm okay with that. And that, I think, is going to be the biggest question you have to ask yourself before you look into buying Reaper Souls. Is the lack of talent points and dedication to a certain spec a problem? If that's not a problem for you, keep an eye on this. You will probably find a quite enjoyable ARPG. And that is where I pretty much stand on it in the end. It also, I really want to give them credit for the complete and total crap they got. Not total crap, complete and entirely justifiable crap they got for lack of inspirational, lack of unique abilities and legendaries and everything. They have almost entirely corrected that. There's some really interesting items now in the game, and I will show you what I mean about that in a second. Let's just get rid of anything I can't use. I'll worry about all this later on when you guys aren't watching. That's good. I just want to go back and get these items. So, the reason I'm okay with not having the talent tree is the reason I'm okay with not being locked down to a certain spec. I was running with a build where this ability was, in fact, those blessed hammers I'd shown you, right? I was running along, using these, and while they're kind of pathetic looking on the screen, they did a lot of damage and they were working quite well for me. Until I had this item drop. This mace, or this flail. And if you read the orange ability there, Fist of Heavens has a 45 chance to also be cast at your location. Now, Fist of Heavens was an ability I had tried to use quite a bit, but if you look here, it costs 30 wrath and calls down a pillar of lightning from the heavens that explodes, dealing 250 weapon damage. Within 8 yards, can create 6 piercing. It's a pretty strong ability, but at a cost of 30, it was hard to use it efficiently. I found myself having trouble with it. However, upon getting that weapon, I could then combine that with like this Fisher ability, which causes 2 Fist of Heavens that are within a certain range of each other to have a lightning arc between them that does 185% damage. And this is what you see me spamming out here where I do this. So this means I can throw down these fissures, and I'm almost always, I got almost a 50% chance to also cast one where I stand, creating these lightning arcs that are just devastating to enemies. And had I been building my character out to where I couldn't use this weapon, this would have done me no good. But I got this item to drop, and within 30 seconds I had equipped it, I had swapped out my abilities, and I had this brand new skill tree that I was using that changed both how I played and also upped my DPS so immensely. It was insane. And for that reason, I kind of give it a pass for not having those skill trees. And this is not unique. There's quite a few of these items out there. For example, these bracers. They have this odd one. Picking up gold grants experience. So for each piece of gold I pick up, I gain 1 experience. I'm getting, if I'm picking up, I don't know, 100 gold a minute, that's an additional 100 XP a minute I'm getting on my character. And that's just a really unique ability. And if we come over here to the chest, I have a whole tab full of legendaries here I've gotten. We can scroll through some of these, look for some of the ones. This is the Butcher's Carver. This one actually doesn't do anything in addition to stats, but what this does is the Butcher, if you remember him from the Mace game, he yells at you and everything while you're using it, which is kind of funny. Some of these are older ones. 27% chance to be surrounded in chilling aura. There's just some really interesting items here. Undead enemies will take 33. That's not a very good one. Oh, this one was great on my monk. I could pull enemies to me with this thing. It was just awesome for creating AoE stuff. But they've added in these abilities have really, really, really made these legendaries so much more interesting than they used to be, which would have been my last big complaint. That's available to the primary game. Alright, I've talked enough. I've been rambling enough. I think that covers it. If you're into ARPGs, this is a good one now, if you can get past not having the customization. The actual Reapers of Souls expansion, I feel, is a little overpriced at $40, as I believe some of the content should be available to everybody. But I've been having a great time. The new class is awesome. The new act is pretty darn good. Adventure mode is quite fun. You get a lot of loot from it. And overall, it's a pretty positive experience. This has been Paler. Thanks for watching.